back to Movies on the Brain, where we dive deep into the weird, the wonderful, and sometimes the downright supernatural. Today we're talking about Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Whoops, I almost said it a third time there. This 2024 sequel brings back some familiar faces, with Tim Burton at the helm once again. And leading the cast, we've got Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Jenna Ortega. Does this new chapter live up to the bizarre brilliance of the original? Let's find out. Let's jump into the afterlife, but remember, don't say his name too many times. Beetlejuice Beetlejuice opened in theaters on September 6, 2024 with a budget of $100 million. On September 4th, it was projected to have a worldwide opening weekend of between $135 to $155 million. On Thursday night previews on September 5th, it earned $12 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn $110 million domestically and $35.4 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $145.4 million, finishing number one in the box office, beating out Deadpool and Wolverine, Reagan, and Alien Romulus, numbers 2 through 4 respectively, with Deadpool and Wolverine having held the number one spot since it opened on July 26th. As of September 23rd, 2024, it has earned $226.8 million domestically and $103 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $329.8 million. In 2024, Lydia Dietz is the host of a supernatural talk show called Ghost House, produced by her boyfriend Rory. During the taping of a segment, Lydia sees visions of the ghost Beetlejuice, who haunted her family 36 years earlier, in the audience. Shortly thereafter, Delia, Lydia's stepmother, shares the news about the death of her father, Charles, who survived a plane crash in the South Pacific, only to have his head bitten off by a shark minutes later. En route to Winter River for the funeral services, the surviving Dietz family members pick up Lydia's estranged daughter, Astrid, from boarding school. Following the funeral services, a wake is held at the old Dietz house. Rory proposes to Lydia in front of the attendees, which she reluctantly accepts, causing Astrid to flee and meet Jeremy, who invites her over prior to the wedding. Sometime later, Astrid discovers a box of items belonging to her father, Richard, who disappeared 2 years earlier in South America, and an ad to contact Beetlejuice. On Halloween, Astrid learns that Jeremy is actually a ghost seeking her help to restore his life. He promises Astrid that she can reunite with her father if she helps him. The two enter the afterlife after Astrid recites an incantation from the handbook for the recently deceased. Discovering Jeremy's past as a murderer, Lydia reluctantly calls upon Beetlejuice to help retrieve Astrid. Beetlejuice agrees, but demands that Lydia marry him, allowing him to stay in the mortal world and evade his vengeful ex-wife and murderer Dolores in the afterlife. Meanwhile, while mourning the death of Charles, Delia opens up a pot with two snakes in it that bite and kill her. Lydia consents to the marriage, and Beetlejuice and Lydia are transported into the afterlife train station in an attempt to stop Astrid from boarding the Soul Train, which transports souls into the beyond. By reciting the incantation, Astrid was tricked into switching places with Jeremy in order for him to regain his life. While being escorted to the platform, Astrid notices that one of the station's employees is their father Richard, who rescues her and Lydia. There, Beetlejuice comes across Jeremy and sends him to hell. Richard then helps Lydia and Astrid return to Winter River in the mortal world. In the afterlife, Delia comes across Beetlejuice, who enlists her help to return to the mortal world to marry Lydia. At a church in the mortal world, Lydia and Astrid arrive as Rory waits at the altar. Beetlejuice, with Delia's assistance, hijacks the wedding, injecting Rory with a truth serum to reveal his intention to marry Lydia for her money and to piggyback off of her fame. An enraged Lydia punches Rory, knocking him out. As Beetlejuice prepares to marry Lydia, an angry Dolores arrives to confront him. Using the handbook as a guide, Astrid releases a sandworm into the church, which Beetlejuice deflects, causing it to eat Dolores and Rory whole. The church ceremony is then thwarted by Astrid, revealing that Beetlejuice violated the rules of the handbook by bringing Lydia into the afterlife, therefore making the wedding contract with Lydia null and void. Lydia then quickly returns Beetlejuice to the afterlife by saying his name 3 times despite his objections. Afterward, Lydia and Astrid reassure Delia of their love for her, as she also returns to the afterlife, where she soon reunites with a headless Charles before boarding the soul train for heaven. Sometime later, Lydia films the final segment of her last episode of Ghost House, opting to spend time with Astrid. Despite this, Lydia continues to have nightmares about Beetlejuice, including one in which Astrid marries a man while traveling the world, then gives birth to Beetlejuice's child. After waking up from a false awakening, Lydia looks to the side of the bed, traumatized and alone. Now let's look at the cast and some of the other roles they've had. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Other roles for Michael Keaton include Regan in Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, Ray Kroc in The Founder, and Batman in 1989's Batman. Winona Ryder as Lydia Deet. Other roles for Winona Ryder include Jo March in Little Women, Paul in Alien Resurrection, and Joyce Byers in the TV show Stranger Things. Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz. Other roles for Catherine O'Hara include Nikki Crabbe in A Mighty Wind, Pinktail in The Wild Robot, and Grandma Frump in 2019's The Addams Family. Jenna Ortega as Astrid Deep. Other roles for Jenna Ortega include Wednesday Addams in the TV show Wednesday, Brooklyn in the TV show Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, and Tara Carpenter in Scream 5 and Scream 6. And Justin Theroux as Rory. Other roles for Justin Theroux include Tramp in 2019's Lady and the Tramp, Dropkick in Bumblebee, and Joe in the TV show 6 Feet Under. Monica Bellucci as Dolores. Other roles for Monica Bellucci include Bianca in Mafia Mama, Ivana Sealman in Memory, and the Mirror Queen in The Brothers Grimm. Willem Dafoe as Wolf Jackson. Other roles for Willem Dafoe include Nemo in Inside, Hymir the Fool in The Northman, and Thomas Wake in The Lighthouse. Arthur Conti as Jeremy Fraser. The only other role for Arthur Conti has been the Queen's Page in the TV show House of the Dragon. Burn Gorman as Father Damien. Other roles for Burn Gorman include the priest in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Major Hewlett in the TV show Turn Washington Spies, and Shriver in The Dark Knight Rises. Amy Natal as Jane Butterfield. Other roles for Amy Natal include Ethel Parks in the TV show Downton Abbey, Sabrina in My Husband's Double Life, and Maya in Despite the Falling Snow. Santiago Cabrera as Richard. Other roles for Santiago Cabrera include Joseph Bachman in the TV show Big Little Lies, Santos in Transformers The Last Night, and Isaac Mendez in TV show Heroes. Danny DeVito as the Afterlife Janitor. Other roles for Danny DeVito include Uncle Dan in Migration, the Lorax in The Lorax, and Al in When in Rome. Nick Kellington as Bob. Other roles for Nick Kellington include Gypsy in 2015's Teletubbies TV show, Carlos in Need for Speed, and Fred Burton in Going in Style. Philippe Case as Vlad. The only other role for Philippe Case has been Villa-Lobos in the TV miniseries Masters of the Air. Now, I don't think this is better than the original, but it's just as good. I really enjoyed all the screen time that Beetlejuice had in this, and he had more than in the first one. And Michael Keaton, I couldn't keep my eyes off of Michael Keaton every time he was on screen. I really enjoyed seeing all the characters coming back from the first one into this, and I really thought Willem Dafoe was a great addition. Willem Dafoe playing an actor who played a cop as the police chief was genius. At least I think it was. Delia dying wasn't something I saw coming, but I did have the thought that someone would die when the snakes first came into the picture. I love that they kept the same ugly look for the sandworm too. The musical parts were unexpected, but the first one made this movie a little bit better. The second one went on way too long. I felt honestly I did not see Jeremy being a ghost. I thought it was going to be Astrid after the way she hit the tree in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, hopefully. I do think having multiple plot points really didn't give Dolores, Wolf Jackson, or any of the other side characters much of a chance to stand out, except for Bob, even though the actors playing them did their best. I couldn't find very many fun facts and trivia about this movie, which is strange, but here is what I did find. Tim Burton said that this film would only be made if Michael Keaton were to reprise his role. Michael Keaton said in March of 2014 that this is the only sequel he's interested in doing. Winona Ryder only had one condition when she met Stranger Things creators Matt and Ross Duffer for a role they wanted her to play on Netflix. If Beetlejuice 2 ever got off the ground, they'd have to let her take a break from the series to film it. They agreed. Michael Keaton has said that making the sequel is more fun than the original. Beetlejuice brings all the quirk, chaos, and fun you'd expect. It's definitely a wild ride, and Tim Burton proves once again that the strange and unusual are right at home with him. Thanks for watching Movies on the Brain. If you enjoyed the review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. And hey, if you want to stick around for more reviews, hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming. So, one last thing before I go. Beetlejuice.